Hey, we're back again to Coon Prairie Ramblers one more time. Circled up and, well, we never even left, but we're still here.
Still here.
And we got Johnny Georges with us,
That's right.
Tree TP.
The tree guru.
TP.
The man,
Yeah.
the man with the plan. Have mercy.
Well, you know what? I'm honored and privileged to be with you boys. Y'all, a couple of country boys.
That's right. We tickled to death to have you with us
Hometown
today.
here, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, actually, he's more country. I'm a little bit more urbane.
Urbane, yeah.
But we've been doing it for 3 years. 3 years?
At least 3, going on 4 now.
2015 started out, yeah.
Going on 4 now.
And going on 4. And all we do is just get, half the time we don't even know what we're going to talk about when we come here.
And we sound like it too when we do talk. But anyway, we're going to talk about your big adventures on worldwide television. Tell us how the world that unfolded and happened.
I did an internship up at Florida Southern for Jim Nunnally's class, and boy from this hometown, his daddy was a lawyer and part of the board of the citrus board for the state of Florida. His name was Walt Brewer. Who
knew him? His family.
Who asked me after my daddy died, and I'll never forget what he said. He went and took me for a ride. I was pretty upset, and he goes, "What's your legacy going to be? What are you going to leave behind?" That's what it's about.
It's important.
So legacy was a big thing to me. Wow. And that being said, I met VC the fourth was in class. Hollinsworth. And Cole Brewer, which was Walt's son, was in that class. He come and did an internship with me. He did a video of me out in the Grove, sent it over to his buddy, and next thing you know, they're giving me a call from Shark Tank. Vincent Arturi, he called me. I hung up on him.
And what's the TV show about for people who may not know about it?
Shark Tank is where entrepreneurs go on television and pitch their inventions or their item or what they're doing to a panel of billionaires.
Wow.
And if they like your idea, they buy into it.
Goodness.
And if they don't, they tell you to hit the road, pretty much. So thank you, Cole Brewer and Jim Nunnally.
Wow.
So they got to go on there, and these people that go on there, they're not really experienced at it, but they got to pitch it to these guys, to this panel of guys. Do they get a chance to do anything beforehand to warm up? Or you just got to walk in there cold?
No, well, they've practiced their pitches. Here's the difference between me and the rest of them. I was invited to be on the show. 60,000 people plus applied.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I didn't know that.
When was this? How long ago?
Oh, this was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, November 1st, 2013 was the night our show aired. The difference between Tree TP, which is me, and everybody else that's ever been on that show, I wasn't scripted.
Wow.
I told them I wasn't a puppet nor an actor. I
Amen,
don't do that.
brother.
And they didn't know how to take me. I said, "Look, I make a good living. I can get my own car and go home." I thought this was real.
Wow. But you said you hung up on them when they first called.
Oh, when they first called,
thought
I thought it was Fish Tank.
Oh, Fish Tank. That's
yeah,
another
there's a Fish Tank show where they build fish tanks.
Oh,
and
wow.
I thought, and I go back there and I said, "Cole, you believe that?" And he looked over at me and goes, "Did they say Shark Tank?" And I said, "Well, it could have been. What did it matter?" He said, "Call him back, you crazy." So I called the old boy back, and he was pretty upset, but he got over it. And,
Goodness.
And 4 days later, I'm in L.A.
You're the only ones that ever turned them down, I guarantee it.
I didn't have time for it. I was drilling a well that
And
day.
4 days later, you
Everybody
were
else applies to get on.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was
in LA.
invited.
Yeah.
4 days later, you're out in California.
4 days later, they gave me $800 when I got there in a 5-star hotel with room service. I was tickled to death.
I heard that. Felt like a celebrity.
Hey, when I went home, my producer, Mindy Zimrak, I pulled out my money and said, "Here's my $800." She looked at that. I don't spend a penny, lady.
Wow,
That's mine.
You're probably the only one ever done that too.
That was like a free week and a free paycheck to me, because I ate for free.
Sweet.
So I didn't spend no money.
How'd the show go? Tell us how that unfolded.
When I went on the show, I went up there and I told him, I said, I can be myself. I can get up there and talk, but I can't do these pitches. People will spend $12,000 building a platform with a pitch and send it in. Me, we did it on an iPhone in 3 minutes in an Orange Grove.
There you go. They knew you was the real deal.
Yeah, we didn't do any of that kind of stuff, and
wow.
I didn't know any better. And when I went on the show with John Paul, the guy who actually picked me, they learned that I'd have done it for $1. And the producers were blown away by it. And he goes, "Would you really do that?" I said, "Absolutely. To be a part of what you're going to take me to." He says, "What do you want from me?" I said, "Just one thing. Your contacts. That's it. That's all I need. If I had, it's not what you know, it's who you know." And he looked at me and stuck his hand out. He said, "You got it, brother." I said, "I will take that $150,000 though." Thank you.
Was you nervous?
Yeah. When I was up there, when I went up in front of Sharks, I started out real nervous, and then when I put my hand up on the TP, I just pretended there was nobody else there.
There you go. You did a good job. We watched that. It was very good. It was very, very emotional, and it was real.
Let me tell you something. I didn't know I'd done anything special.
I
didn't.
You truly did.
It was a God moment.
Yes,
because I didn't know I'd done anything special. I went up there, and I'd rather go home with nothing than to sell out the people I work with and work for.
Amen.
All my life.
That's
and
right.
and at least you got your honor,
integrity,
everything. Yeah, and I do make a good living working for farmers, so it wasn't an issue.
Wow. And your product, they bought into your product, and it's caught on, and now it's nationwide or worldwide?
Well, we were in 5 counties when I was on the show. Today, without expanding it, we're in over 42 countries worldwide.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And I poured concrete about around my feet and stayed settled in for the rocket ride. Yeah.
Now, that is a legacy.
That word's come up twice now.
It is a legacy.
Let me give you a story. After Shark Tank and all that, last year they took me out to L.A. for the Environmental Media Association Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Goodness.
Long one short, 2,600 plus people are nominated for this. I was just honored and privileged to be nominated. Just
sure, 2,600.
Yeah, they fly you out to Los Angeles. You go to the Samuel Goldwyn thing.
Goldwyn,
yeah. And you're there, and you get up on stage just like you were on Shark Tank, and the panel is Will Smith, Jaden Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio, all these movie stars.
No kidding.
In the front row, I met Clint Eastwood and Tom Selleck, and you just name it. You meet them all.
That would be terrifying to me.
It's kind of weird because you see people you saw in movies like Frances Fisher. I couldn't think of her name, and I thought I knew her. But it's because I seen her in movies, you know. It's because I didn't know her.
You walk up like you knew when you start talking to her.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to jump ahead real quick. 2,600 people do their song and dance. There's only 3 of us left. 3. I made it in the top 3.
That's incredible.
I couldn't believe it. And so the third day we're there. There's 3 of us left. We're going to go back out on stage. I call it the song and dance. You're going to answer questions.
Right. Sure.
The last question that was posed to me was by the head of the DiCaprio Foundation. He looked over at me, and they always ask you your last question out of 50 questions, last one. In one word, describe what you do.
Oh, goodness.
I said one word, legacy.
Legacy.
Legacy. And I looked at the audience. I'm standing at the podium, and you could have heard a pin drop. I'm not kidding you.
They weren't expecting that one,
They weren't expecting that one. And then he leaned forward and walked right into it. He goes, "Can you explain that one?" I said, "Yes, sir. Legacy. The greatest man that ever walked the planet never gave away a penny, but he gave away everything he had and all that he was to save all of us. And whether you believe in him or you don't believe in him, you know who he is."
Amen, brother. Wow,
that's a
powerful.
legacy.
That is powerful.
And
right there.
I saw the place erupt.
You got their attention.
I grabbed their attention. That's a God moment, because them words aren't prepared.
You're right. The Lord provided that for you. He put the words in your mouth and gave you that word.
Well, the backstory to that, before I went on stage, the producer looked at me. She says, "Now remember, no religion and no politics." And I looked at her and smiled. Then I looked over at JP, and he knew right then that, oh my goodness, you don't say that to him.
My goodness. Well, we're down to the end of our second segment already. We're having so much fun and so interesting. I can't believe it's flying by so fast. So we're going to have to come back in a couple minutes after these commercials and talk about something else. So y'all stay tuned.
You put 3 country boys together and we can talk all